You know what? As far as a mentoring note, we got to talk about it, man. Big news just broke today. Paul Wight, formerly known as The Big Show, has now signed with AEW. Hashtag Big Show, excuse me. Paul Wight is now all elite. Man, that's breaking news, man. That's
huge.
That's game changing. It's game changing in a lot of ways because Big Show, formerly known as, was with the WWE for 22 years, man. He pretty much grew up in the company, man. And the thing is, for Big Show to make that decision to make the switch, I tell you, man, this takes me back to the 90s. This takes me back to WWE versus WCW. Who was going to show up? John Moxley. Bam! John Moxley. He's in the house now. Big Show. Of course, Sting. Orrin Anderson, Tully Blanchard. Man, this is beginning to look like something that I have seen in the past once upon a time. But is it gonna change the landscape of things? Is it a big catch for AEW? That's going to be the question swirling for a while until Big Show either get in the ring and do what he's going to do, behind the scenes do what he's going to do, commentary do what he's going to do. Time will tell. But right now, the wrestling world, the internet is a-buzzing about Paul Wight and AEW Wrestling signing a long-term contract. And I'm sure if Big Show signed a long-term contract, it's got a whole lot of ducats floating around. What do you think about this?
I was shocked.
Is this a coup? I remember once back in the day. I remember it was on the Beyond the Mat. That's what is that the name of that show? Beyond the Mat.
It was the documentary.
Documentary, yeah. This new one that comes on. That's the name of it, right?
Oh no, Dark Side of the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring. They were showing the guy who was a promoter back in the day, and he was trying to take over one territory, let Vince have the other one, and of course Vince said, "Man, I'm taking it all." But at one point, Herb Abrams had acquired the services of Andre the Giant for the biggest show that he was going to put on. And wait a minute, no, that's not. For the biggest show that he was going to put on, Andre the Giant showed up for that show. Show didn't do great numbers or anything like that, but Herb Abrams had pulled a coup and got Andre the Giant out from under the banner of the WWF at that time. But it only was for one night, and Vince McMahon convinced Andre the Giant to come back. Dadgummit, to the WWE.
They're trying to get you. They're trying to get you right now.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that analysis right there? You think something like that could happen?
I don't. No, I think that Big Show now, or Paul Wight, as we should say, you know what? We should have seen it coming. His theme song has told it to us for all these years. You won't see it coming, but I promise you'll know, right? So the shock for him to sign, we should have seen it coming. But I was really blown away when I saw it. At first, I told you earlier, I thought it was a fake post. I was like, oh, look at this. Because they've done it for everybody. Brock Lesnar is all elite. Randy Orton is all elite. And they do the little things. But then when I saw that this one was real and it was coming from the official AEW account, I really did think, wow, this feels different. Because the thing with AEW is they have a lot of young talent. Great young talent.
Yeah.
The thing that they need to do to expand their horizons and their awareness is getting more talent that people know. You know Chris Jericho. You know Sting. You know The Big Show. It's 100%. You know who that guy is. And I think that helps bring new eyes to the product. I think it's a really smart idea to put him on a show that's brand new and have young guys around him, because hopefully his celebrity, because this is a guy who's coming straight off of a Netflix series. Hopefully his celebrity will bring eyes to these young guys that are going to be on the new AEW Dark YouTube show. And then anybody he wrestles, obviously they're going to be elevated too. I'm shocked though that he made the jump. He never seemed like he seemed like a lifer. Like 22 years, I would have never thought it, especially because we just saw him like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago on TV. We just saw him. And I didn't see it coming, but now it makes me think that anything is possible with AEW as far as the talent that they're able to sign. Because like you said, if they're able to get the Big Show, and the rumor is that he may have parted ways due to the amount of money. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what at least I'm reading, that they couldn't come to terms on money that he is owed or what have you. So if he couldn't come to terms with WWE, he came to terms with AEW. That means they do have a lot of ducats behind that Khan family fortune. And now I think that anybody could conceivably be over there. I think that Brock Lesnar could sign to AEW.
Amen.
I wouldn't be shocked by it.
You know what I think about too is that show that they have, Go Big Show.
Oh, I know. Over there on TNT, right? Yeah, with Cody. Go Big Show.
Oh boy, you think that's a coincidence?
Yeah, that's good.
You think that's a coincidence? You think that just ironically happened? I don't know, man. But my thing is, I do like I was reading something Tony Khan was saying about Big Show. Big Show could definitely mentor the young guys there. That kind of stuff right there is something that sticks out for me. Just because, Big Show is a guy that's been on the team. He knows what it's like to, get to the big game and score. He's wrestled in main events, so as far as Big Show being something that could add to AEW, yeah, I think yes. And what capacity that they're going to use them, they're going to have to try to figure that out, because me personally, contrary to what a lot of people believe, I still think it's a lot of juice left, in Big Show, as far as being able to go out there and work there again, certain angles, certain ways with certain people, and people buy into it, because there again, this is professional wrestling. If done right, this thing could really pay off in ways that one could only imagine. Seriously, I would love to actually have that project and something to work with. Like that, I was looking at somebody like Booker T. I'm not going anywhere, guys. I'm good right now. But I tell you, it's going to be definitely something to see. We got to take a break, guys. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. There again, man. Do you think the Big Show making a big switch to AEW? Big news just broke today, guys. One thing I got out of this thing also was it didn't leak out. Big Show, news came out, bang, when it was supposed to come out. It's actually news. It's not a spoiler or anything like that. I was just talking about how I hate seeing spoilers. Just as, I just saw like I say, the Miz winning, and no longer than 24 hours, it's coming out. Well, the Miz is just doing it for this reason. I'm like, man, it just spoils everything for me. It's talk, it's chatter about Zelina Vega, perhaps, being a good fit for, perhaps the inner circle. But it's not been any word or rumor or anything like that going around that Zelina Vega is going to be is going to be signing soon with AEW. You know what I mean? I don't know, man. It's just like, for me, I like Tyra Valkyrie getting a shot in NXT, but man, she was a draw right off the top. You know what I mean? I say you give her platform and break her in. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? But when I see, the lip still can be buttoned. You know what I mean? Where there again, there's no spoilers. I feel a certain way about it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I like when news is legitimately shocking. I mean, because I was legitimately shocked by this one. I was surprised by Sting, even though we had heard like Sting maybe was coming in, but it was like months ago, and you kind of forgot about it.
That was really all speculation.
It was all speculation. Yeah, it was like, he might be coming in or something like that. Nevertheless, I was surprised by it. I was surprised by Paul Wight's signing to AEW. And you know what? I mean, here in a few minutes, he's going to be making his debut in AEW on television the same day they announce it, which is just great.
How surprised were you when Chris Jericho signed?
I was actually surprised by Jericho too. Just because I thought that he was a lifer. I just thought that I guess I didn't take.
How surprised were we when John Moxley signed?
Given that he was leaving, I thought that would be the only place he would go, but it was a surprising moment. It was a surprising moment because I thought he might stay in New Japan.
If you remember what I said when John Moxley left, I said, man, he's just going to take some time off, get himself together. Finally find it, he's going to end up, resign. I don't know if you remember me.
Right, I do remember that. Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I thought was John Moxley was going to sign with AEW. I just didn't see it. Just because, you always wonder, if the grass is greener on the other side, but you wonder, should I try it or not? And now when we got, guys like, Big Show, like you say, we just saw him 4 weeks ago, Legends Night. Okay.
Yeah, you were there.
I was there. Talked. And then a month later, Big Show doesn't sign the contract. And then, boom, immediately signs a contract with AEW. That right there.
Tony Khan must be a hell of a negotiator. He might just say, so how many zeros does it take? Oh, okay. Here you go.
Here's the check.
You fill it in.
Take this check home with you. We'll talk tomorrow. It's one of those type of deals. But man, it's definitely shocking. You say Brock Lesnar. Let's throw some names out there. Brock Lesnar, right now he's off. He's sitting at home. He's not doing anything. Let's put that name to the side. What other name besides Brock Lesnar do you think could make a move, as far as showing up?
I mean, I think the one that's been beat to death is CM Punk, of course, right?
That is. That's the name that I was thinking about, man. I was wondering if anybody...
But now I think that it's pop. Remember, he always talks about a truckload of money. They need to bring a big bag. Obviously, the big bags are to be had.
Yeah, look, I'm sure, man. Every time the mailman show up, I'm sure that bag gets smaller. You know what I mean? Because the mailman is dropping off bills, man. Light bill, you know what I mean? Phone bill, you know what I mean? Cable bill, you know what I mean? Mortgage note, you know what I mean? Your girl want the nails and hair done. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, man. That number in that bag, gonna definitely dwindle. The bag is gonna say, man, all right, I'll take this. Give me some incentives. You know what I mean? Give me some points. That type of stuff. I remember they told me one time this closing line came out, Urban Golf Gear. They said, man, we'll give you some stock, man. I want cash. And they went under it big. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here wishing I took the stock. You know what I mean? So you got to be calculating when I'm doing something like that. And I'm sure CM Punk, that would be the name that will pop the business if he was to show up. Because I'm like this here. If Sting at 61 could take a power bomb, Punk at 41 could take one.
Punk should be able to do it at 41. Here, let me ask you this, though. And I'm just playing devil's advocate because I'll be honest with you, the wrestling fan in me loves this back and forth, the drama and the story of everything. Does AEW run the risk that WCW did back in the day where you have all this pure homegrown talent, but it seems to be more spotlight is put on the older set of guys from the other company coming in, right? I mean, Jericho's closer to the end of his career than the beginning. You say the same thing for Sting, The Big Show, other names such as that. Do you think that they're in risk of going too much with the older name recognized talent and not focusing on the young stars like WCW did at one point?
I really think a lesson was learned from WCW. I mean, you got to be able to pick and choose. And like you said a second ago, you got to have those names on the ticket just to sell, just say, for instance, overseas market. You know right. What I mean? Just to get, people's eyes, on the product. I think WCW back in the day, I really don't know what Eric Bischoff and those guys were thinking because they were hiring every, guy that were out there, and whether the guy had star power or not. If the guy was just a wrestler, they hired him just so WWE wouldn't get those guys. A lot of those guys were ex WWE guys that WWE didn't want anymore, and they just hired them. They were trying to corner the market. That's exactly what they were trying to do. They had guys on the payroll. Lenny Poffo was making $250,000 a year. Okay, and I think I saw him once. Okay, the whole. I'm serious. Horace Hogan. I don't know how much money Horace Hogan was making, but have you?
How much money did he draw?
Yeah, me and Horace was good buddies too. When the last time you seen Horace Hogan?
1997.
Exactly my point. You know what I mean? Nord the Barbarian. You know what I mean? We had guys like these guys were making six figures. You know what I mean? Big long green ducats. And they were doing nothing. There again, we had Sturgis, Hog Wild, pay-per-view. Nobody paid for a ticket. It was the craziest thing I'd ever. So it was money just literally just going out of the buckets of just pouring it out the window. So I don't think Tony Khan is going to go that route. But if it's a few guys out there that could, bring recognition, I think I really don't see anything wrong with that. I really don't, because for me, it's marketing. It's about trying to get people to eyes on the show. I got to be able to use these older guys to work with these younger guys, mentor these younger guys, because you got to the house party. What's the name? A private party. These are really young guys. And if you ain't got somebody to mentor them and tell them, man, this thing could be here today and gone tomorrow before you know it, if you don't wise up, okay? Like just say, for instance, Sammy Guevara. You know what I mean? Sammy might need somebody to, say, because I know if I was there, I'd pull Sammy aside and say, hey, man, look here, bro. Don't do this because that could lead to this. And I'm just telling you from experience. And I wouldn't be telling him that if I wasn't there to help him. That's why these guys, I think, are put in these positions, like Orrin Anderson, Tully Blanchard, whatnot. So I can see, certain guys being put in certain positions for certain reasons. We had a debate, you and I, a few weeks back, if I was going to start a wrestling company, what guy would, I use to start that company. I said AJ Styles, and I said, right? Why? Because AJ Styles has been in the trenches. He's been there. He's been all over the world. He knows exactly what it takes to make it to that next level. So for some young guy, there again, I use Roger Federer. Just on Monday, I say, if you don't think Roger Federer can help you get to, the Open, you got a problem. And that's what I think these guys are there for.
I know. I think you make a great point, and I was really playing devil's advocate. I like seeing the influx of talent and the old and the new working in concert with each other. It's actually somewhat remnant of my favorite time in Impact wrestling history, when you and Kev and Steiner and Angle were all over there working with Joe and Bobby and AJ and Petey and all those guys. That's kind of what I feel like right now. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. And here's the other thing, Book, that we have to think about. Do you realize who are both in AEW now at the same time?
Who's that?
The Big Show and Shaq. We can finally get the match of the big men. We can get it what was promised at WrestleMania, Booker T.
Hey, man, you never know, man. You never know. What's up, this Booker T, two-time Hall of Famer. I know you're checking out the Shine, checking out the Gloss. I want to thank you guys for checking out Row on YouTube. Hey, don't forget to click and subscribe to check out all the latest content right here each and every week. Now, can you dig that, sucker?